Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you for joining me today. I would love to begin this podcast that I named Transition to a Higher Dimension, Path of Surrendering, Trust, and Freedom by simply introducing myself first and talking a little bit about this podcast. My name is Oxana, and I've been on the path of surrendering for a little bit over a decade now. And the direct surrendering, conscious, full surrendering began 6 years ago. I wanted to capture in this podcast the way I approached what needed to be done to surrender to the next level of being. The transition is tough, but sometimes our mind creates more difficulties because it resists the change. So I grew up in a different country. I grew up in Russia, depending where you are listening. And I felt that I never belonged to preserve this earth. I don't know whether it is something that is playing in my mind, but even today, as much as I am bonded and continuing to bond with nature on this planet and surrender to the path I chose even before coming here, I still sense that the origin of my being is not from this earth. I cannot say reasons why, but I feel it deep in my soul that there is something that is not mine here. That's not the point. I grew up in Russia and I loved dancing. Dancing actually was my escape for many, many years. I expressed myself through dancing. I was able to feel through dancing. I closed myself off from the feelings, probably because I chose that kind of path. And yes, the surroundings also contributed, just like for any person. We chose families and path and wounds, whether they're connected to karmic lives from the past, which are actually simultaneously running, or circumstances we choose, of course, to go through. So I closed off myself from feeling so much that I didn't want to feel, really. I didn't want to feel the pain. I didn't want to feel the pain of me and my inner state and pain of people around me and on this planet. So, and briefly, I will tell you that I moved to US at a teenage years, at 16, with the dancing and continued dancing for a bit. And then I stepped into the path of regular person. College, got married early, went through deep depression on different levels. I probably will touch upon that in my podcast that will consist of many series or parts of series. I just don't even know how long it's gonna take. I thought first I would break it down, and now I'm thinking it might take longer, it might take shorter. So I think I will go with the flow. And describe how I've surrendered to the change and transitioned into a higher state of being. And what triggered my awakening is out-of-body experience in my late 20s. There's a lot that has happened during that time that shook me. And I was in physical and mental and emotional pain, as many of us, of course, are. And I experienced out-of-body experience, which I'll talk about later, that triggered me to realize that being a regular person no longer can fit me. And I started looking into who I am, what everything is. From very early childhood, I always wondered about dreams. I always wondered, how is it that we fall asleep? I fall asleep. And then I wake up and I continue this life. Where do we go when we fall asleep? And I still play with that. The home I live in, called The Dreamer. Right now I'm sitting under the oak tree recording this, and birds are singing. Everything is alive. Sky's blue with clouds. Leaves are talking to me. Trees are supporting me. So when I awakened to reality of non-physicality existence, physical existence, my path, conscious path, began of realizing, exploring, diving into energy, truly. At that time, I wasn't speaking that language of energy, but I just knew that what I don't see is much bigger world out there somewhere. So, and now I want to bring you into now by describing that I wanted to record this podcast for a number of years now, but I just couldn't get put together within myself. I couldn't understand what I want to talk about. There's so much. And because I'm a yoga teacher, I thought I would talk about yoga. I would talk about movement, which I teach. But more than anything, I realized I want to talk about how we transition into a different state of being. And this podcast will include everything. It will include the yoga path. It will include the dark night of the soul. It will include losing, gaining, moving. It will include everything. I hope. I'm curious what it will include. In fact, I hope you can stick around with me. This is completely free. I will take you through one way of going from three-dimensional existence to a higher step, to the fourth, to the fifth, to the sixth, seventh, wherever it takes me. Please check out my website, oxanabeam.com. I do private classes, group classes. Connect to me for inquiries. I run and host workshops at Vedanta Spiritual and Holistic Retreat. Please connect for a workshop. I am running 2 workshops right now, full moon gazing, recalibrating the heart. And I'm also running Body Energy Awareness and Movement Retreat. You can find that information on oxanabeam.com. And if you wish, I would love to welcome you to visit Vedanta Spiritual and Holistic Retreat website as well, vshr.org. There's plenty more other retreats that we're running here. And I would love to get to know you more. You can DM me directly or email me, oxanabeam@gmail.com. And I hope you can connect to my information through your heart. And I hope it can help you to realize your full potential and to help you transition to the next step of your being during this crucial, important time on this planet. We are already there into a unity consciousness state of being. We've been going through birth canal for some time, and now we're stepping up and stepping in deeper into who we truly are, not only on this planet, but multidimensionally. What is our origin? And what is our origin calling us to be? So this podcast, transitioning into a higher dimension, a path of surrendering, trust, and freedom. Freedom is our birthright. And somehow, somewhere, that was lost. And we are now on a path of becoming free spirits on this earth. I thank you so much. Please connect to me directly, and I will be posting first video of this podcast in a couple of days. Sending my love, and I hope to see you either in my classes or retreats. Much love.